I fell in love with Amanda 4 years ago, convinced she was the one. We built a perfect life together and got engaged 8 months ago, planning our fall wedding with excitement. Then out of nowhere, Amanda confessed she had unresolved feelings for Jason, her college crush. She wanted a break to explore these feelings before committing to marriage. The request hit me like a freight train, shattering everything I thought we had built together. Let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. And if you have ever faced betrayal like this, hit subscribe and join me as I share how I put my unfaithful fiancée exactly where she belongs. Amanda and I met at my college friend Tom's housewarming party 4 years ago. I remember the moment clearly, standing in the kitchen mixing drinks when she walked in wearing a blue dress that matched her eyes. We clicked instantly, talking for hours about everything from our shared love of obscure documentaries to our matching dreams of traveling through South America someday. Our first date was at the Blue Note, a small jazz club downtown. I knew she was special when she mentioned loving the same saxophone player I had followed for years. After 2 years of dating, we moved in together into an apartment downtown with a view of the city skyline. It was not fancy, but it was ours. Every morning we had coffee on our small balcony, planning our future together. I loved how she would scrunch her nose when she laughed at my terrible jokes. We were building something beautiful with shared dreams of eventually moving to the suburbs, having 2 kids, and adopting shelter dogs. I proposed last summer during our vacation to Malibu. I had planned it for months. A sunset proposal on the beach, with her favorite flowers arranged in a heart shape on the sand. When she said yes, tears streaming down her face, I felt like the luckiest man alive. We called our families right there on the beach, and the excitement in their voices made the moment even more special. Our wedding plans were coming along perfectly. We had booked a rustic vineyard venue for October, just when the leaves would be turning golden. Amanda had found her dream dress, though she refused to show me pictures, insisting on tradition. Her parents had already put down deposits for the catering, and my mom was coordinating with the florist. Everything was falling into place for what we thought would be the perfect beginning to our life together. Our daily routines complemented each other beautifully. I would cook breakfast, while Amanda picked out my ties for work. On weekends, we had traditions of farmers, market mornings, and movie nights, with homemade pizza. Both our families were thrilled about our engagement. Her father had already started calling me son, and my parents treated Amanda like the daughter they never had. Looking back, the signs of trouble started about 3 months before everything fell apart. Amanda began mentioning her college days more frequently, specifically stories involving her group of friends that included Jason. At first, I thought nothing of it, happy she was reminiscing about good memories. Then came the behavior changes that I should have recognized as red flags. She became protective of her phone, positioning it screen down or taking calls in another room. Her working late became more frequent, with vague explanations about project deadlines. Our intimacy diminished gradually. The passionate kisses goodbye turned into quick pecks, and our once active physical relationship became almost non-existent. When I tried to talk about these changes, Amanda would dismiss my concerns as stress from wedding planning or work pressure. I believed her because I wanted to, because the alternative was too painful to consider. Then came the conversation that shattered everything. We were having dinner at home on a Tuesday night when Amanda put down her fork, looked at me with an expression I had never seen before, and said, "Dirk, I need to tell you something important." My stomach instantly knotted as she explained how she had reconnected with Jason through social media. They had been messaging, and those conversations had stirred up feelings she thought were long gone. I had such intense feelings for him in college, she said, her voice steady, in a way that terrified me. We never actually dated because the timing was always wrong. Either he was with someone or I was. But there was always this connection between us. As I sat frozen, she continued, "I think I need some space before we get married. I need to explore these feelings and get clarity." Jason is single now, and we have been talking a lot. I think this is better to address before marriage, rather than after, right? Her words struck me as both calculated and cruel. She was asking permission to essentially cheat on me, with the blessing of a break, all while keeping me as a safety net. When I asked if she had already seen him in person, her hesitation before saying just for coffee to catch up told me everything I needed to know. This was not a sudden impulse. This had been building while I remained oblivious, planning our life together. The week after Amanda dropped her bombshell was the darkest of my life. I could not sleep, spending nights staring at the ceiling, replaying our relationship and wondering what signs I had missed. Food lost all appeal, and I lost 7 pounds in 10 days. My performance at work suffered to the point where my boss pulled me aside to ask if everything was okay. I gave him a vague explanation about personal issues too, ashamed to admit the full truth. My best friend Michael became my lifeline. He came over almost every night that first week, sometimes just sitting with me in silence, other times listening as I cycled through confusion, grief, and rage. "You know this is not about anything you did or did not do right," he told me repeatedly. "This is about her inability to commit and appreciate what she has." Though I nodded, I did not fully believe him yet. The humiliation of explaining the situation to family was almost as painful as the betrayal itself. Calling my mother to tell her the wedding was on hold was excruciating. Her initial excited greeting quickly shifted to concerned questions as I struggled to keep my voice steady. When I finally got the words out, her silence spoke volumes before she finally said, "Oh, honey, I am so sorry." Canceling with the vendors, most of whom kept our deposits, was just another layer of loss. Amanda moved out the following weekend, insisting this was just temporary. "I just need a few weeks to get clarity," she said, packing a suitcase and a few boxes. "This does not mean our relationship is over." But the careful selection of items she took told a different story, as did her request to take some of our framed photos to not forget what we have. I helped her load everything into her car, each item feeling like another piece of my heart being carved away. After she left, the apartment felt cavernous. Her absence was everywhere, from the empty side of the closet to the bathroom counter missing her lineup of skincare products. I found myself leaving the television on just to fill the oppressive silence. Sometimes I would wake up reaching for her in the night. The cold, empty space beside me, a fresh reminder of everything I had lost. About 2 weeks after Amanda left, something shifted in me. Perhaps it was the accumulated sleepless nights, or the growing anger replacing my initial shock, but I began to question the narrative she had presented. My tech background made me naturally investigative, and one evening I logged into our shared cloud storage to retrieve some documents I needed. What I found instead were photos automatically uploaded from her phone, including screenshots of conversations with Jason. The messages dated back almost 4 months, far longer than the recent reconnection Amanda had described. They revealed an ongoing emotional affair, filled with inside jokes reminiscing about college and increasingly flirtatious exchanges. Their innocent meetings for coffee had actually been regular occurrences, sometimes during work hours when she had told me she was in meetings. There were lunch dates at restaurants across town, carefully chosen to avoid running into anyone we knew. My discoveries did not stop there. Through mutual friends, I learned Amanda had been telling different stories about where she was and who she was with on multiple occasions. Sarah, who had been my friend before I even met Amanda, reluctantly admitted that she had seen Amanda and Jason at a concert 2 weeks before our breakup, though Amanda had told me she was at a work event that night. What hurt most was seeing how easily I had been replaced. Within 3 weeks of moving out, Amanda had changed her social media presence completely. Gone were our couple photos, replaced by new images of her life without me. There she was at restaurants and bars we used to frequent together, but now with Jason by her side. Their body language in these photos spoke volumes, clearly not a relationship in its early exploratory stages, but one that had been developing intimately for some time. Her communication with me dwindled rapidly. The daily check-in texts she had promised became every few days, then weekly, filled with vague updates, but no mention of us or returning. When I asked directly about where we stood, her responses became evasive, filled with phrases like, "still figuring things out and need more time." The final blow came when Amanda returned to collect more of her belongings 1 month after moving out. I had steeled myself for the meeting, determined to maintain my dignity despite my breaking heart. When she arrived with a rented truck rather than just her car, I knew she was not coming back. As she packed her remaining clothes and books, I finally gathered the courage to confront her with what I had learned. "I know about all the times you were with Jason when you said you were working," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. "I know this has been going on for months, not weeks." Her reaction was not denial or even shame, but a cold dismissal that revealed the person she had become, or perhaps had always been beneath the surface. "Does it really matter now?" she said with a shrug. "The timing does not change the reality that Jason and I have something special. Maybe I was just settling with you because I thought he was unavailable." Then came the words that cut the deepest. Jason was always the one. Dirk. I just never had the chance to find out until now. Sometimes people meet the right person at the wrong time, you know. As she spoke those words so casually, something crystallized within me. This woman standing in what had been our home was not the person I had fallen in love with and perhaps never had been. The Amanda I loved had been a careful construction, a reflection of what I wanted to see. The real Amanda was capable of calculated deception and casual cruelty, willing to rewrite our entire history to justify her choices. That realization, painful as it was, became the first step toward my healing. The day after Amanda collected her remaining belongings and effectively ended any illusion of reconciliation, I made a deliberate choice. Instead of drowning in misery or begging her to reconsider, I would reclaim my life and rebuild it stronger than before. This was not an overnight transformation, but a conscious daily decision to move forward, rather than remain stuck in the quicksand of what might have been. I started by reaching out to friends I had neglected during my relationship. Amanda and I had fallen into the common trap of becoming our own insular unit, gradually seeing less of our individual social circles. Michael had remained constant, but there were others I had lost touch with. I called my college roommate Brian, who I had not properly spoken to in over a year. We met for drinks, and his genuine happiness at reconnecting reminded me that my world extended beyond Amanda. My physical health had deteriorated dramatically during the breakup. The weight loss had not been the healthy kind, and dark circles under my eyes reflected my sleepless nights. I joined a gym near my office and started going every morning before work. The routine gave structure to my days, and the physical exertion provided both stress relief and exhaustion that finally allowed me to sleep. I consulted a nutritionist who helped me develop a meal plan to regain healthy weight and energy. My career became another focus. I had been coasting in my software development role, comfortable, but not challenging myself. With newfound clarity, I recognized that Amanda had subtly discouraged my professional ambitions, suggesting that climbing the corporate ladder would mean less time together. When a senior development position opened up, I applied immediately and prepared extensively for the interview, eventually securing the role along with a significant salary increase. Perhaps most importantly, I began therapy with Dr. Marshall, who specialized in relationship trauma. Those weekly sessions helped me understand the patterns that had made me vulnerable to someone like Amanda. My tendency to idealize partners, my willingness to overlook red flags, and my fear of confrontation had all contributed to the situation. This was not about blaming myself for Amanda's actions, but about ensuring I would make healthier choices in the future. About 6 weeks after our final confrontation information from mutual friends began filtering back to me. I had not asked about Amanda maintaining a dignified silence on social media and in conversations, but people felt compelled to share nonetheless. What they revealed fit a pattern I had not been aware of previously. Jason, it turned out, had quite a reputation in their college social circle. Sarah reluctantly shared that he was known for pursuing women who were in committed relationships. It is like he enjoys the conquest more than the relationship, she explained. Once the chase is over, he typically loses interest pretty quickly. This pattern seemed to be repeating with Amanda. According to mutual friends, Jason had been attentive and romantic during the early weeks, when Amanda was still technically engaged to me. But once she had fully committed to him, his interest began to wane. He became less available, canceling plans last minute, and being increasingly seen out alone or with friends, while Amanda posted increasingly desperate, happy couple narratives online. Armed with this knowledge and the clarity provided by therapy, I took strategic steps to fully separate my life from Amanda's. I methodically untangled our digital lives, changing passwords on shared accounts and creating new profiles where necessary. I consulted a lawyer about the broken engagement, learning that legally I was entitled to the full return of the ring since she had ended our engagement. I focused on building a new social circle that did not overlap with Amanda's. Through a community volunteer program and a coding meetup group, I connected with people who knew nothing of my past and accepted me as I was now. These fresh relationships, without the weight of history or pity, became invaluable to my recovery. Throughout this period, I maintained complete silence on social media. While Amanda documented every aspect of her new life, often with thinly veiled references to finally being with her true love, I posted nothing. This was not a strategy to appear mysterious or to make her curious, but a genuine need to process my experiences privately, rather than performing healing for an audience. The promotion at work that Amanda had discouraged came with new responsibilities that absorbed my energy productively. I led the development of a new project that had been my dream for years, earning recognition from executive leadership and rebuilding my professional confidence. The financial benefits allowed me to redecorate the apartment, removing the final traces of our life together and creating a space that reflected my personality alone. 3 months after Amanda had moved out, my phone lit up with her name for the first time in weeks. I was having dinner with friends when the text arrived. "Can we talk? Really talk? I think we should meet." I showed the message to Michael, who was part of our dinner group, and he raised an eyebrow. "You know why she is reaching out, right?" he said. "Word is that Jason dumped her for his personal trainer last week." I waited until the following morning to respond, simply agreeing to meet at a coffee shop near my office. Her rapid response, suggesting multiple times and places, revealed an eagerness that confirmed Michael's information. I selected a time that worked for my schedule, approaching the meeting, not with anxiety or hope, but with a calm curiosity about what she might say and how I would feel seeing her again. I arrived at the coffee shop 15 minutes early, choosing a table near the window where the natural light was good. This was a deliberate choice. I wanted to see Amanda clearly and be seen clearly in return. The person sitting waiting was not the devastated man she had left behind, but someone who had used pain as a catalyst for growth. When Amanda walked in, the changes in her were immediately apparent. She had lost weight, but not in the healthy way I had eventually managed. Her eyes had a frantic quality, darting around the cafe before landing on me. Her typically immaculate appearance seemed hastily assembled, her hair lacking its usual perfect styling. As she approached, I stood politely but did not move to hug her as I once would have automatically done. "You look really good, Dirk," she said, settling into the chair across from me. "The new job must be treating you well." The fact that she knew about my promotion revealed she had been keeping tabs on me through mutual friends, something I found neither flattering nor concerning, merely interesting. After ordering her usual complicated coffee order, she launched into what felt like a rehearsed speech. "These past few months have given me a lot of perspective," she began her voice, taking on the sincere tone I once found so endearing, but now recognized as performative. I made some impulsive decisions based on nostalgia and fantasy rather than reality. She explained that her time with Jason had helped her realize what she truly wanted. What I had with him was not real, she said, looking down at her coffee. It was based on an idealized version of him I had carried since college. The real Jason was nothing like the person I had built up in my mind. Without mentioning that I already knew about their breakup, I simply asked, "So what happened between you two?" Her explanation was carefully edited, focusing on incompatibilities and growing apart rather than the abrupt dumping I had heard about. "We just wanted different things," she said vaguely. "I realized that what I really want is stability and genuine connection, not excitement built on nostalgia." Then came the pivot I had anticipated. "Being apart from you has made me see how special what we had really was, Dirk. We built something real together, something based on trust and understanding." The irony of her mentioning trust seemed lost on her. "I think we could start over, but stronger this time because of everything we have learned." She reached across the table for my hand, adding, "This whole experience could make our relationship better. Many couples go through challenges before marriage. It tests the foundation." For a moment I observed her with a detached curiosity. The woman sitting across from me had once been the center of my world, someone whose happiness I would have sacrificed anything for. Now I felt compassion for her, but the magnetic pull she once exerted had vanished entirely. "Amanda," I said calmly, withdrawing my hand from hers, "I appreciate you sharing your thoughts, but there are some things you should know." I maintained eye contact as I continued. "I am aware of the extent of your relationship with Jason while we were still together. I saw the messages, the dates, the lies about where you were and who you were with." Her eyes widened slightly, but I continued before she could interrupt with denials or justifications. "What hurt most was not that you had feelings for someone else. Feelings can be complicated. It was the calculated deception while I was planning our life together. It was hearing you say that I was someone you settled for and that Jason was always the one." I did not mean that she interjected quickly. I was confused and trying to justify my actions. I nodded, acknowledging her response without accepting it. "The thing is, Amanda, even if that is true, those words came from somewhere, and they showed me something important about how you saw our relationship. They also forced me to examine how I saw myself." I took a sip of my coffee before continuing. "The past 3 months have been transformative for me. I have reconnected with who I am outside of us. I have rebuilt my confidence and discovered strengths I did not know I had. And I have learned that I deserve someone who chooses me definitively, not someone who keeps me as an option while exploring others." Amanda's expression shifted from hopeful to concerned, as she realized the conversation was not going as planned. "People make mistakes. Dirk, are you really willing to throw away 4 years because of one error in judgment?" "This was not one mistake," I replied, maintaining my composure. "It was hundreds of small decisions to lie, to mislead, to betray my trust over months. And no, I am not throwing anything away. I am honoring myself by recognizing that some bridges cannot and should not be rebuilt once broken." I finished my coffee and set the cup down gently. "I wish you well, Amanda. Sincerely. I hope you find what you are looking for. But what you are looking for is not me anymore. I have put you where you belong in my past as a chapter that helped me grow, but that has now concluded." The shock on her face was evident. She had clearly expected me to welcome her back with open arms, grateful for a second chance. "You cannot mean that," she said, her voice rising slightly. "We were going to get married. We had plans of future mapped out." "Yes, we did," I agreed. and you unilaterally decided to explore other options. That decision cannot be undone, and its consequences cannot be erased with apologies. As I stood to leave, she grabbed my wrist. "Please, Dirk. I made a terrible mistake. I miss our life together. I miss you." Looking down at her, I felt a final wave of compassion mixed with certainty. "I know you do. But the man you miss no longer exists. He has been replaced by someone who values himself too much to return to a relationship built on such a fragile foundation." I gently removed her hand from my wrist. "Take care of yourself, Amanda," I said, and walked out of the coffee shop without looking back. In the months that followed, I heard through mutual friends that Amanda had moved to Seattle for a fresh start, after several awkward attempts to contact me. I wished her no ill will but felt no regret about my decision. The boundary I had established was not about punishment, but about self-respect. My healing journey continued with both setbacks and progress. There were still nights when memories would ambush me, moments when a song or scent would trigger remembrance. But therapy helped me develop tools to acknowledge these feelings without being consumed by them. I learned that healing is not linear, but a winding path with unexpected turns. Gradually, I began dating again, approaching relationships with new wisdom and clearer boundaries. I met Jessica at a charity run organized by my company. Unlike my immediate connection with Amanda, my relationship with Jessica built slowly from friendship to something deeper. Our communication was transparent from the beginning, discussing past relationships and lessons learned without dwelling on them. The most profound lesson from my experience with Amanda was recognizing that someone who truly loves you would not need to explore other options. Real love includes not just passion, but loyalty, honesty, and consistent choice. I learned that self-respect is the foundation for all healthy relationships, and that setting boundaries is not selfish but necessary for genuine connection. I also found unexpected gratitude for the painful experience. Without Amanda's betrayal, I might have continued in a relationship with someone who was not fully committed to me. I might never have discovered the strength and resilience I now know I possess. Sometimes the most painful endings lead to the most necessary beginnings. Have you ever experienced betrayal that ultimately led to personal growth? Share your story in the comments below. If this journey of overcoming betrayal and reclaiming self-worth resonated with you, please hit the like button so others facing similar situations might find this video. Subscribe to join our community of people, supporting each other through life's toughest moments. And if you know someone who might be struggling with betrayal or heartbreak right now, share this video with them as a reminder that healing is possible. Thank you for being part of this journey with me, and remember, sometimes putting someone in your past is the most powerful form of moving forward.